Hello, it's Way here with a story, a bedtime story, and it's a bedtime story about a chap. I don't think it's very nice. I don't really like this character. Most of the characters I've got a bit of sympathy with, but this one, I find it a bit difficult. He's a bit of a naughty chap. He thinks he's funny, but he's not really. We all know somebody like this, don't we? Somebody who's always playing tricks. Somebody who thinks it's funny to sneak up behind you and go, boom! Yes, we all know people like that. This one is called Mr. Mischief. Well, let's see what he's been up to, shall we? I'll bet it's no good. I'll bet he's been up to no good. Yes, I'll bet he has. Whoops. That's what we want. Top one there. Well, here we are. Mr. Mischief. This is Mr. Happy. He's on his way home. Poor Mr. Happy had had a very tiring day. He'd been rushing here and there and back again, cheering people up. It was very hard work. He sighed as he went into his house and sat down for a well-earned rest on his kitchen chair. But then, do you know what happened? As soon as he sat down on the chair, it fell to bits. Bump! Poor Mr. Happy fell onto the floor. Oh, that's all I need, he said. I rather think that I have had a visit from Mr. Mischief. Outside Mr. Happy's house and running away as fast as his little legs would carry him was a small, mischievous figure. Mr. Mischief. Oh, Mischief, glorious Mischief, he cried. I do so love it. And he ran, giggling, into the night. You can see why Grandad doesn't like him very much, can't you? The next morning there was a knock at Mr. Greedy's door. But when he went to answer it, there wasn't anybody there. But what there was a box, a very large box. And inside the box was a large chocolate cake filled with cream and most delicious looking pink icing. Mr. Greedy's eyes gleamed. He licked his lips, he shut his eyes, and he opened his mouth and took a large bite. He said, the chocolate wasn't chocolate, it was mud. The cream inside wasn't cream, it was cotton wool. And that delicious looking pink icing wasn't icing at all, it was toothpaste. This sounds like one of the cakes that Saoirse made me in her mud kitchen. But poor Mr. Greedy ate it. Look, what he's eating there. Look at a big chunk he's eaten out of it. And outside Mr. Greedy's house, and running away as fast as little legs would carry him, was a small mischievous figure, giggling as he ran. We know who that is, don't we? And that's not all. That very same morning, Mr. Funny discovered that someone had filled his hat with treacle. So when he put it on, it all ran down his face. Very sticky treacle. Uh, can you guess who might have done that? That afternoon, Mr. Mischief did something that he was to regret. He was walking along through the woods looking for mischief when he came across a wizard. The wizard was fast asleep. I know, giggled Mr. Mischief. I'll change the wizard's wand for an ordinary piece of wood and then he can't do any magic. He grinned a mischievous grin and crept quietly towards the slumbering wizard. Mr. Mischief reached out carefully and seized the wizard's magic wand. But what he didn't know was that wizards' wands don't like to be seized. "Help!" shrieked the wand in a high, shrill voice, which woke up the wizard, who in turn seized Mr. Mischief by his nose, which was extremely painful. "Let go my nose!" cried Mr. Mischief. "I know who you are," said the wizard. "You're that Mr. Mischief who soared through poor Mr. Happy's chair legs, and," he continued, "baked a rather unusual cake for poor Mr. Greedy, and," he went on, "put treacle in poor Mr. Funny's hat. I've been hearing all about you," he added. "Let go my nose," said Mr. Mischief again. "Very well," said the wizard, "but don't believe that you can get away with being as mischievous as that." He let go of Mr. Mischief's nose. He got hold of his magic wand and he waved it. "Ooh. Beware," he said, and off the wizard walked. Silly wizard," muttered Mr. Mischief. "Can't take a joke." And he went home. "Silly wizard," he said again, as he sat down on his kitchen chair. "Oh! Flap! Bump! Ah! Silly, silly, silly wizard," groaned Mr. Mischief, picking himself up. "Him and his silly magic." And he made himself some porridge for tea. Mr. Mischief, as he put a large spoon of porridge into his mouth. "There!" said Mr. Mischief, somehow, as if by magic, which of course it was, the porridge turned into sawdust. Oh, gosh, that'd be horrible. "Oh dear," spluttered Mr. Mischief. "Perhaps I'd better not get up to quite so much mischief in future, after all." And he went upstairs to bed. He jumped into bed. Oh, the bed was full of raspberry jam. Oh dear," sighed Mr. Mischief. "I think I must definitely not get up to quite so much mischief in future." And do you know something? The day after, he was as good as gold. And the next day, and the day after that. It lasted a week. But then that old mischievous urge got the better of him. He just couldn't help himself. It was a Saturday night. He crept into Mr. Fussy's house when he was fast asleep, and can you guess what he did? Oh, what a beautiful piece of perfect mischief, he cried as he ran, giggling home. What do you think he did? Can you guess? Maybe he sawed through his chair? Maybe he baked him a mud cake? No, he cut off half of Mr. Fussy's moustache. Isn't that terrible? Poor Mr. Fussy. He was absolutely horrified when he awoke and found out. But even that terrible piece of mischief is not the end of Mr. Mischief's story. No. So, before you go to bed tonight, just take a look out of the window. Go on. You can't see a small mischievous figure anywhere about, can you? Are you sure Mr. Mischief isn't there, about to play a trick on you? That's Mr. Mischief. I think Mr. Mischief meant well, but don't you think he went a bit too far? Damaging the chair, smashing the chair up. He could have poisoned Mr. Greedy, couldn't he? Feeding him mud and cotton wool. What else did he do? Who else did he get? He got Mr. Who was the one with the hat? Mr. Fussy, was it? No, it wasn't Mr. Fussy, was it? Let me see. Who was it? Whose hat was it? It was Mr. Funny. It was his hat, Mr. Funny there. Yeah. Well, I don't think he was very nice. I don't. He went a bit too far, if you ask me. What do you think? I think he did. Anyway, that's Mr. Mischief there. We've put a cross on him because we've read that book. Are you enjoying the Mr. Men books? I hope you are. If you're not, if you want a little break, you let me know. We'll read something else. But I quite like them. They're nice little books, aren't they? Let's stop the share and then I can chat to you properly. There we are. There we are. So, I'll read you another story very, very soon. Arthur and Saoirse are coming to stay with Grandy, they call me Grandy, with Wei Wei and Mama this weekend. And I've got to be up very, 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 oh, I sound like Julia, very, 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 very early on Monday morning because I'm taking Daddy to the airport. He's going on a plane. Do you know where he's going? Bet you can guess. I bet you can. Yes. It'll be lovely to see Daddy, won't it? It will. And I know he's been missing you very much. Very, 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 very much. And he'll be able to read you a story directly rather than like this, which is much nicer, isn't it? It is. So, I'll see you soon, I hope. There's a few little prezzies in the case for Aureliano because it's his birthday soon, and for Julia because it's her birthday soon, and Florencia because I've not seen Florencia. Oh, when did I see her? Before Christmas. It's a long time. Oh, yeah, ages. And she'll be, it's not her birthday yet, but it's nice to have a present, isn't it? So I hope you enjoy playing with everything that we send. And I'll see you soon. Love you lots. Bye for now. Bye bye.